Hey, Lib. I'm not, I think everybody's still muted. This is the president, and
You're not muted.
I'm not muted, nobody.
I think we're still muted if you guys started the meeting.
We're gonna unmute, guys.
So we're,
You got a quorum?
Yeah. I heard you, Mayor Caggiano, we just got a quorum, just achieved the quorum, and so the chairman's about to start the meeting.
All the meetings order. Mayor Cassetti, lead us in the.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Mayor Cassetti, Van Sonia.
Present.
We don't have First Selectman Smith with us. We don't have First Selectman Sorty of Bethlehem with us. Mayor Bristol, Jeff Caggiano.
I'm on my way in. I'm here now.
From the town of Cheshire, Andrew Martelli. I know you're there, Andrew. Okay, we got you. From the town of Middlebury, First Selectman St. John. Here. From the borough of Naugatuck, Mayor Hess. Here. From the town of Oxford, First Selectman Temple. Here. Thank you. Mayor Kilduff from Plymouth is not with us. Mayor Chatfield from Prospect.
here.
Yes, sir. First Selectwoman Dragonis with us. Oh, I know. From the city of Shelton, Mayor Loretti.
Yeah.
From the town of Southbury, First Selectman Manville, it's not with us. From the town of Thomaston, First Selectman Mamon let us know he wouldn't be able to attend. From the city of Waterbury, Mayor Pernaruski let us know he didn't think he'd make it in time for this meeting. We do have Judy Mancini from the city of Waterbury, who's alternate. Mark Ramo, Watertown let us know that he would not be able to attend. And, Mayor Dunn from the town of Wolcott. And we have not heard from First Selectman Woman Wilkinson from Woodbury. You have a quorum present, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So we will go to item 2. And I guess I'll start the discussion. Now, I'm certainly not an expert on the history of all of the things that have happened, but I know what our members want. And it's clear to me that everyone wants equality on every issue for all 19 towns, including the 4 towns. Now, I'm going to quote one of our members who made a very astute statement at our last meeting, First Selectman Temple, who said, "It seems needlessly complicated." And to me it is, because I don't really understand what we're fighting about, and I don't think we're fighting about anything in my mind. So having said that, and after thinking about it, speaking for myself, I'm not against status quo and just keep doing it the way we're doing it. Unless someone comes along and says it's illegal, they're not gonna give us federal money or something like that. I would be in favor of just keeping it going the way we're doing it. Now, if that's satisfactory to everyone, I'll suggest that. If it's not, tell us why, or what are we fighting about? I think we all agree on everything.
Would you like that in form of a motion?
Yes. Well, I mean,
Do we just keep it, or we don't change it?
I actually have, some amendment
Okay.
options for you.
Yeah, I think there has to be some amendments
Yeah.
to this existing document.
But, if I may,
yes,
Mr. Chairman, so. Somehow I've ended up as the bad guy in all of this, and I'm not sure why or how. My job is to provide you with the best advice that we as professional staff can develop. Our advice was to keep a single board model and to not allow the chair to not be a member of the NPO, to avoid a whole bunch of issues. It was actually to simplify it. But it was done in the open. I mean, there was no secret about this. We went through a process. I am a horse and race. Hey, this is not an agenda, as I've been accused of having, or any other thing. This is not some game to eliminate the lower valley from being in the seat of the chair of this organization. I'm from there. I mean, I would never do something like that. So I felt a little bit under attack over this, and I just wanted to state that to you, because there was no intention to do anything like that. The intention was to comply with the regulations as best.
I don't think anybody personally attacked you. I raised the question about the status of the chair, which to me made no sense. And I said why at the last meeting.
Yeah, more, I'm a big boy, I'm not crying. I just wanted to let you all know where this is coming from. The option, as I've said it the last 3 times we've met, has been, we can go with status quo and wait and see if it flies with the federal certification. Or we can make other changes. I had suggested we just elect 2 slates. It seems, based on last week's meeting and the chairman's comments and other conversations, that the consensus, I believe it's consensus, is to just go with status quo as best as we can in this document, because we want to keep this document, we want to adopt bylaws with the NPO. So I do have a suggestion, and if the board would hear me out on this first, We have the bylaws, that we can put up on the screen and some changes that I'd like to go to, and I think we can deal with pretty simply and quickly. That's in, I have your permission.
Proceed.
So, if we go to page 21, Ezra, of the bylaws, this is Article 11, which are the MPO bylaws. So if you scroll down, in section B, we're just gonna add language, that Rich has. Unfortunately, it's, two different documents, so if we can just share over to Rich.
You can share.
Yeah,
This one is not really pertinent to what we're talking about, but we need to insert this in section D.
so the text in black on the top is what the section currently reads in the draft you all received. The blue paragraph below just helps to clarify some of the federal and state framework under which the MPO exists.
So basically, it references, if there is a conflict with any federal law, just references that the federal law governs and the authorizations from Federal Transit Administration, Federal Highway Administration, govern the CFR. That's really it, all that says, and give you all a chance to read it.
This is current language?
This is what, this is the proposed
Oh, they're in
language,
blue, okay.
up there in blue is
Yeah.
the proposed addition to this particular section.
All right,
It's kind of articulating the obvious.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but we just wanted to say that, we wanted to make the statement that we're governed by those rules as they change. Because when we get to certification review, I know you guys don't care about it, but we have to sit through it for weeks when it comes up, and one of the things will be the make-up. We're learning, he's been the chairman, I was the chairman of the, Greater Bridgeport Valley MPO right now, and he sat through these certification reviews. So I just want to make sure everyone saw this language. This would be part of the proposed amendment, would be to add this. And then the next, we'll go back to the bylaws then.
Has everybody had a chance to see? Everybody good with this?
I mean, there's nothing there. But we go back to the bylaws, then paragraph D. The next page, next page. Officers, so paragraph 2. In that section, we will just strike it in its entirety. So paragraph 2 reads currently in the draft. Chairperson of the NVCOG shall be a member of the CNVMPO, serving as chair of both organizations. NVCOG member or communities that are not members of the CNVO may hold other officer positions and serve in that capacity on the board. We're gonna strike the entire section. All right, and then fourth paragraph, so 2 paragraphs down. It currently reads, the chairperson or other presiding officer shall have the right to participate in all votes before the NPO. So to maintain status quo, the chairperson, we're gonna amend it after the word officer. The chairperson or other presiding officer, provided they are a member of the CNVMPO, shall have the right to participate in all votes. That's status quo. Remember, you can't vote for NPO. Any questions about that?
well, they're both status quo.
I just want to make sure everyone is good with what we're talking about. Okay, if we can now jump all the way back to Article 6. Which is the NV, still the NVCOG bylaws, but addressing the officers of the NVCOG. Article 6, it's on page 13 of the drafts. Here, what we would do is strike Article 6, Section A, number 2, in its entirety. It's chairperson requirement. Chairperson will be a member of the MPO, would just strike the entirety of it. And then everyone, I assume everyone's good with that. And then if we go down to Section D, chairperson. Paragraph 3. So it says here, as a member of the council and MPO, the chairperson shall have the right to vote. We just have to change this to as a member of the council. We're gonna strike the words and MPO. Chairperson shall have the right to vote, because this pertains to NVCOG residents, not MPO. Good? Questions?
Hi. Just a few, I have a few comments, Mr. Chairman.
If we could we just get the motion to adopt?
Sure.
So moved.
As amended?
Second.
We have a second from Ansonia. Motion from Wilkett. Any discussion? Are we ready?
Yes, two things. I had mentioned when I came in that the call of the meeting says that it was the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. And then the reference to bylaws also says Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. But Rick points out to me that there is Article 11 that references the NPO organization within the Valley Council of Governments bylaws. So so we all understand what it is, to me, it's a little confusing, but okay, as long as it works for us, it's legal, then I'm good.
If I may, Mr. Chairman. So when we adopted the NVCOG bylaws in 2015, with the merger of VCOG and CNV, CNV, we reserved an article for MPO bylaws, and left it blank at that time, with the intention of adopting bylaws when something happened. I mean, we anticipated the merger of the MPOs and alignment of the boundaries didn't happen. So, but that's the section, that this body anticipated adding MPO bylaws.
And the last point that I would make, and I just want to reference, a situation that occurred within the Greater Valley and Bridgeport MPO many years ago now. It was the time of the year where we elected our officers, and it was historical and always done that the mayor of Bridgeport would be the chair of that organization. Well, we walked in there one day and the nomination of Mark Loretti for chairman came up, and that drew the attention of the entire room. So the Bridgeport delegation quickly called for a recess. And they caught about a half hour.
I'm in a Zoom meeting with the Council of Governments. I should be off in about 10 minutes.
Law amendment change. And the bylaw amendment change was that they would alternate between Bridgeport and the Valley, who was gonna chair the organization every election cycle. And because they had realized, because they're good at reading tea leaves down there, that they didn't have the votes for chairman. That it would this time, for the very first time, it was going to the Valley. And I was the recipient of that. And, you know, not that I wanted to be the recipient or was the recipient, but this is our Valley communities having a voice.
Right.
With everyone. And, you know, the reason we are up here for the Council of Governments, and I supported that wholeheartedly and continue to do that, because I think it's a good thing for all of us. And I think that the last 8 years have proven that. And so that's why I will continue to advocate that where we go is important to us, and we want people to know that. So that's a little bit of history, and you know, it was political, and there was some gamesmanship that went on, but so be it. You know, they all voted, it was all unanimous to change the bylaws. They did it that day to allow the back and forth. Because
We can't change the bylaws every day, correct? We have.
But in Bridgeport.
And he being so caustic, that's what brought that on.
Right.
They probably were counting, they're still counting votes down.
And it was funny because we walked into the meeting and it was Ron Scarratt from Seymour, who was a Democratic appointee on the board, says, hey, they mail already? He says, we have the votes. Tell me what you want to do. I said, forward march.
Right.
So I guess the point of all that is that, you know, mayors and first selectmen get along regardless of what the political affiliation is. We get along because we have the same types of problems and the same types of resolutions to those problems are one and the same. So, just for everyone's benefit, there's a little bit of
And
evolution.
also, Paul, you came in late, but what we're essentially doing is maintaining the status quo. As opposed to a more extensive bylaw change.
Now, do you think it's wise to change the bylaws in the future? To reflect that the 4 valley towns are in the MPO?
They're not in the NPO. They can't, they can't be unless, it's a long process that requires the representatives of 75%, 70%.
75.
75 of the citizens of the region. So,
Plus the largest city.
right, and then the concurrence, essentially a veto of the center city mayor in both the existing regions and the proposed regions. It's really 3 votes. This body would have to vote, the mayor of Waterbury would need to concur. The Greater Bridgeport Valley MPO would need to vote, the mayor of Bridgeport would need to concur. And then on the new proposed one, whoever the largest city is, that mayor would need to concur. And each vote would require the representatives representing 75% of the population.
An awful lot of red tape.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's all federal regulation. There are rules for how these things are adopted. We got through, we got halfway through the process before. And then when it went to Greater Bridgeport Valley MPO, the mayor of Bridgeport did not vote for the motion, so it all just died.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Bob Chapel here.
So ordered.
Mayor Chapman, let's see.
No, I think you was voting.
In the affirmative. No, I was asking a question.
He was
But you
asking,
already voted, correct?
Question? You have a question?
Yes, I did. Are the 4 Valley towns happy with what's going on right now?
yes, I am. Mayor Gazette.
Mayor Bob's question.
No,
No,
I didn't hear.
we just changed everything for you, now you're not happy?
I had my hand up to ask a question and you took the vote. My question was gonna be, are the 4 Valley towns happy right now?
This is government in action.
They're part of us like they should be, correct? They can hold office?
Yes, they can hold office. You're still 2
Good.
separate.
Okay. That's all I was asking.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all the business before the special meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, so moved, or second.
All those in favor?
All right.